Marla Beth. Welcome to Angelic Realms Productions, the pulse to consciousness. How high are you? Hi, Lea Anne. Welcome back. How are you doing?
Hi, Marla. I am fantastic. It is so good to be back on the show.
It's always good to see your face, and we have something exciting to talk about today, don't we?
We sure do. And I'm excited to have this conversation. I'm actually going into it blind. I really don't know anything about what you're about to share. So this will
Okay.
be a great discovery for me too.
Well, thank you for having an interest. And you're like one of my biggest cheerleaders. I love you, love you, love you so much. Thanks for your support in this. And I'm really put myself out in vulnerability to to show what I went through with my what I did is I went on a healing journey. It's called Bufo. It's a toad. It's toad venom that comes from the Sonora Desert and in Arizona. That's a Sonora Desert, right? I think it's Arizona. And so these frogs, they come out during the monsoon season and they're doing their thing. They're waking up when they hear the rain. They wake up. And these toads have in their glands, they carry this venom. And this is like once a year, or whatever, this monsoon season, they milk these toads and take the venom. And it's also made in synthetic form, also. Anyways, this venom is a psychedelic. It's also known as 5-MeO DMT. It's the highest level of DMTs. So when I told my son I was going to go on a journey and what it was, he was like, "That's the highest one, Mom. Why don't you start low?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just doing it. I'm going to do it. I'm called to do this. It's a frequency. I'm going to do this. And he's like, "Okay." I did my research and I met someone on Facebook who is a coach, spiritual integration coach. And he coached me through this. And it was a phenomenal experience. So I'm here to just share my experience on Bufo 5-MeO DMT, which is known to do huge healing qualities. Veterans are using it. My co my well, I'm a spiritual integration coach as well, and so is my friend John, and so we got together and he helped me on this journey. And it was amazing. So I have a video. I recorded the second journey. I did two. So I recorded the second one. The first one I didn't record because I wasn't sure what to expect. And so then after I knew what to expect, then I'm like, okay, then now I can do the second one and give viewers and get to see how I responded to Bufo. So I'll be attaching the video to this interview, and I'll have this interview separate as well.
Very
So
good.
I'll have multiple videos so people can have a choice to watch it or not. It's about 21 minutes. It's not too long. It's really great. So, any
So,
questions so far?
yes. So how long did your Bufo experience last while you were being affected by the Bufo?
Okay, so what what John did was you start really small in the dose. And you go through that, and it lasts about 10 to 15 minutes. It's really short. You can drive right after. So you inhale and you go through your experience, and you'll know if you need more. You just know it's just knowing. And I needed more. So we did it again. And I went back up. And then we did it again full dose. And that was the big one. And so that was my first journey. So the first dose, we go through prepping. In the video, it shows, he's cleaning me with Palo Santo. But we did something outside beforehand too. We did intention setting.
So you
He's
cleared your energy, lined yourself up so that you felt nice and clear and aligned,
Mhm.
set your intention.
In the morning I did my 12D shielding.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So I did my shielding. You don't eat beforehand, but I did have my coffee. I was very nervous. I was pacing. I was unnecessary talking, just very nervous. And you just don't know what to expect. I had no idea. The only psychedelics I had done at that point was I've done mushrooms. My first experience was fantastic in my like 30s. My second experience sucked. I had a bad trip. And then there's another one after that, but that's later on. I'll share later. So I didn't know what to expect.
Okay. So when you were in a full experience, when you went up and when you said, I really got what I needed the second time and it lasted a little while, explain how you felt then. Like what was going on in your mind and your
Mhm.
sight? How did your brain operate?
You
How did
can't
you understand
think.
yourself in that space?
Oh, this is, and remember, I'm only like 3 days into integrate, 2 or 3 days in integration. You discover things after, and
Yeah.
I'm in discovery and integration with life with it.
So
I,
it's a big unpacking, isn't it?
oh,
It's like a mind defrag.
you have to be interviewed before doing this. You have to be ready. You don't want to do this unless it could break you if you're not ready. You have the interview process to be a coach for this is big. So obviously I passed. I'm in high levels of consciousness. I am high in consciousness. And I wanted the reason, I'm going to go back a little. The reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to clear out any residual things that I need to work on. As a healer, you want to be healed so you can be at your optimal for others. And I wanted to, since I work in consciousness expansion and growth, and knowing where harmonic universes are and dimensions, I wanted to feel this experience and then kind of experiment and then analyze it after and to see what I was going through. And I wanted to become better at my practice. I didn't know what it would do to DNA and if my gifts would kick in or what it would do. But through my journey, I'm seeing what's going on. So the first inhale, and my video shows the inhaling of it, I'm sitting up. It happens immediately, Lea Anne. It just, and it's like, oh my God. And so when I'm talking about it, I'm reliving it in a sense. It's still in me, it's still flowing, and music is bringing it out still to the right now. So,
That's true. This is a very raw video. This is you just completed your journey within the last few days.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So the feeling is still in me. It's still lasting. And if you take hits of like THC, you'll have remnants of those feelings. Instantly, this feeling of, oh my God, you can't let go, you can't let go, you can't let go. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And that's when I start like, I need you, I need you, I'm scared, I'm scared. It's this overwhelming feeling of fear. And so he helped me lay back. And I'm like, don't let go, don't let go. I need you, I need you, I need you. You need that contact of human because you're getting pulled right up. And you have to let go, you have to let go, you have to trust this process. But in the interim, you can't, it's really difficult. But once you do, it's like, whoa, you have like, and it's very vocal for me, it was very vocal. And so as I'm laying there now, laid back, and John's rubbing my chest, I'm trying to let go and breathe in. That's when the breath work starts. That's when listen to the music, let it pull you. It wants to pull you up. And if you resist it, it's going to create a panic or fear. So you have to let go. And once you let go, you feel better and you feel this sense of euphoric a little bit. Like, oh, and I vibrate, I'm already internal vibrating. I'm like, oh, and so I don't know if you can even hear me when I say do this because sometimes the sound puts out when I'm like in high frequency. And then it's like, oh my God, oh my God. And then you start crying because you're feeling this release and you feel a sense of pain. And I'm like, in the afterwards, I'm analyzing, I'm like, am I going into higher self and healing these levels of self? That's what it felt like. Okay, so that happens quite a bit. Oh, relax. Oh, and then relax. finally, and then it's a feeling. It's feeling more than visual. I'm not seeing so much color. I do see color, but not like, so much like that with swirls and things. I see fractals. I saw the interwoven of particle. That was freaking cool. And then, uh, you see, and then you go up, you keep going up. It's like you're going up in consciousness, higher, 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 higher. And as you go there, you're seeing fractals of like, and it's just pulling you up. The best I can describe it is this picture. I'm going to screen share, so our viewers can see this. Can you see that?
Yes.
So
Oh,
this
that's
is
beautiful.
this is like the 13D mother. I have to look up exactly. This is the ascension code. This is a and it's crazy because I'm like, what I felt, I'm like, I've seen a picture of what I felt, and this is what I grabbed, and I'm like, that's it. It's like all these layers upon layers of going up in fractals and consciousness. It was so beautiful. And I'll stop sharing.
That is beautiful.
Can you see me now?
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. And then where you hit this plateau, like a flat line, flat space, and I'm like, oh, is this the void? You just kind of get flat, and then you come down real quick, like within 10 minutes. And so then he's like, you want to go again? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Halfway through, with I had goggles on. We also used my mat and my light goggles while doing this. So it was I felt, I felt like lightning, electricity was coming off of my fingertips. Like, I was vibrating and I saw a light, bright light, heavenly realms like this. Okay, so Bufo is the closest to a near-death experience, by the way.
That's what I was thinking. It was an
Yeah,
out-of-body
it
experience
was.
or a near-death experience.
Yeah, this is the closest you can get to a near-death experience because I saw the light. You go break through the fractals and the light, the void, and and then you take more and then you go back up and then you work through all these layers and you're crying. And when by the time I did my third round in my one journey, I knew that, and I don't think many people know this about me, and I'm going to share this because this is part of that vulnerability and healing aspect. And it's healing for me to talk about it too. When I was 13, I was raped. So at 13 is first time having any kind of intercourse, I was raped. So that came up. So I know I have residual work to do on that. And I thought I had cleaned that up because I wrote him a letter. He was 16, I was 13. And I put myself in therapy when I was 18. When I told him, I didn't have support when I spoke about what happened. Nobody supported me in this. I was blamed. I was 13, like my parents were going through a divorce too. So it was a lot of stuff. By 18, I put myself in therapy and we discussed about why don't you write a letter to get it out. And I did, and I wrote it and he responded. And I'm like, oh, boy, he sure sounds like an attorney. I did find out he was going to law school and he put the blame on me. I'm 13. So
Of course he did. Of course he did.
He just, oh yeah, I kind of flipped it around, did that. What is that called? Gaslighting. So
Redirect.
Yeah, didn't, yeah. Well, if he took accountability, then he has to say sorry. And it was his projection on all his bull crap. And he had done this to other people. I wasn't alone. I had friends that, oh, he did that to me too. So it was a common thing of how whatever he was going through, whatever. That's not my problem, but this is healing. And so I don't have to carry it. And part of this journey was let it go, let it go, let it go. You don't need to hold on to it anymore. It's not part of you. It doesn't define me. I felt one. I felt completed. Like by the second journey, the next day I did it again because I'm like, there's still something there. There's still something there. I need to do it one more time. So the plan was we'll go in with 25 milligrams, and then we can do a full dose, like 75. I said, okay. But once I got into that 25 milligram, now that's the video was the second. The video is the second ceremony. Once I got into the 25 milligram, I was fine. I didn't feel like I needed it anymore. It brought me real high into consciousness. And I didn't have, I just had self-love for myself. Like, it's okay. It's okay to, you're doing good. You're exactly where you need to be. I felt the waves of the water and droplets, and every little fractal of sand was me. Everything was of me, and we were all one. And I went
I
back
love
into that
that.
light. Yeah,
Um,
it was so cool.
is it like the feeling of being everything and then nothing at all? It's like you can kind of shift in between being everything that is, or
It's
being really
love.
small or really large.
It was everything. You just feel like you're everything. Like this here, everything here on Earth is the stupidest thing on ever. This is
That's true.
I didn't want to come back. I understand when people have an NDE, they don't want to come back. I didn't want to come back. I don't want to be here. It makes me cry. It's hard because it's stupid here. It's a stupid. It's low frequency, and I want people to learn how to get into high frequency so they can feel this feeling and heal, do self healing, and then share their gifts of healing to help others to heal. So when I did this, I knew I'm healing others. I brought in some light into all the realms. I brought my light into higher levels of myself and inner earth. And I think that because I felt that light shine and the vibration of frequency, and I was like, oh, really high pitched. Poor
Wow.
John. Poor John. He took such good care of me. He really did. He really nursed my heart, held my hand. He put this fragrance on me. It's called Kalena. It's like a citrus. It's, I think, a Native American. I think they do this in ayahuasca journeys too. So you get these senses. So I had the mat. I had and that was warm with far infrared. And I had the frequency in the mat. So that was extra tingling. Then I had the goggles with the light show. And that was very stimulating. And then you had your olfactory senses. I think that was, to stimulate. It was just total high frequency.
Is there anything that you wouldn't do if you did it again? Like, would you have the goggles next time?
Well, we started off with just the masks to keep it dark.
Yeah.
You'll see me pulling it over when I needed it. I pulled those over my eyes, and then I'm like, okay, now I need my goggles. I wanted more stimulation. So when
Okay.
the stimulation calmed down a little bit, kind of when I was like starting to, it's called landing, when you're starting to get out of it, then I wanted that stimulant again because I do well on a high frequency. It
I
was,
see.
yeah. So it's hard to put in words because I'm still integrating, but I worked on a client today. Whoa, I just got chills. It was very different. My work, it expanded my work. It was, when I hum, go,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes high and goes, my hum is different now. It shifted my hum. I'm now in the higher frequency of humming, and my client felt it. It also sharpened my intuition. I knew exactly what was going on with her. And she's like, whoa, yeah. When I was drilling into her back with the selenite crystals, I was using that and going up and down. She's like, she was seeing things coming out of her. I mean, it
Wow.
was productive. The work it was productive. And that is what you want. You want your clients to start clean, so, for practitioners, it's phenomenal on, so,
So it
yeah.
puts you in touch with a greater depth of intuition and greater ability to move within frequency bands,
Yeah.
and
And
your directed energy is more powerful.
Oh my God. While I was in it, I felt my DNA activating more.
Wow.
I'm
Can
like,
you
I'm being
explain how that
activated.
feels?
Oh,
Explain how that feels.
it was like that lightning feeling out of my fingertips, that energy. I'm like, oh my God, my DNA is activating. I feel it. I feel I just feel when I do that with the particle, I'm like, it was like coming inside of me because we are in it versus out it. It's everywhere and in us because we are a part of that system inside of our energy points and our morphogenetic fields with the particle. And so um, I just instantly knew it was activating my DNA. And today was a pure, I saw it. I saw it in my work that it did activate it. I was hoping for memory and integrity. I want my memory, better memory. And I'm manifesting that because all the information with my teachings, I need integrity. I want it to be deep, deep, deep. My memory. And to go back. Oh, get this. Wow. I was moving up. I felt the Emerald Order. I felt ancient Anahazi. I felt them. And that was in my first journey. I felt my family.
That was my next question. And I
Oh,
wanted to get
funny.
back to the DNA activating. I wanted to ask you a question. Shoot, it already left me. But yes, I wanted to find out if you had a connection, a
Oh,
spiritual connection.
immediately. So the first dose, and it's so great to talk about this because I forgot about that part. Just because there's a lot of things going on when you're in a psychedelic trip, right? Um,
There's a lot of knowing, but you don't realize you know until you begin to speak about it. And then that's how it unpacks, is when you begin to share it or journal
right.
it. And you don't
That's it.
realize what you know until it comes pouring out of you.
That's the integration
Oh,
part. Yeah.
and the other
Well,
thing, okay, I do know my next
okay.
statement, but go ahead and talk about your
Don't
your.
forget it this time. Okay.
I won't.
So, and I didn't care what John was thinking because I was screaming. He's seen everything. He warned me, "Don't you worry. If you have to throw up, don't worry. I got your back." And he's seen it all because he works with a lot of people and veterans and yogis and all different types of people. So I let out as I was screaming like, "Oh," that you've heard me scream when we've done work, remember?
Yeah.
But this was high pitch because it had a higher frequency. And then it came in with my ancestor. It felt like I was going up frequency. Felt my ancestry, which would be on the 12th dimension, on a Hazi, all that. So that's where I'm like, okay, that's where my family is. I'm like, oh, it felt beautiful. I'm like, and then I was doing light language. I was doing my video shows me doing light language. I was moving things. So that was healing. I'm doing healing work while I'm healing. And that was good to me because it's a language that our ancestors would do, dancing in front of fire and teach communities. And I know this because I remember past lives of doing this with my community. I was working with my community to help in past lives. It felt like Atlantis times, and we would because it was because we were by the beach and we had fires and doing that kind of stuff. So I even brought up interdimensional free work council. I'm like, oh, I'm part of you. I'm part of you. I'm part of you. I know it. I know it. It gave me validation that I'm feeling this while I'm on a psychedelic journey, that everything I'm doing is good. I did not see my mom who passed away. I didn't see my dad. I didn't feel anyone who's passed. I just felt that one situation I needed to work on, um, because I think that being so young and having that situation happen, it took away my trust in some regard with men in my heart. And that also works in the romantic realm. So that's some work to do right there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so and that's okay because we all have some stuff to work on, don't we? That's part of it. And it continues just because I once I if I rein this in and work on it and heal, then there'll be other things that come up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you can work on something for years and think you're
Hmm.
finished with it, and then you can be shown that there's more work to do. But there is one thing I
Absolutely.
wanted to comment on when you mentioned your memory. I want my memory. I want to have my memory.
Hmm.
Your memory isn't in your brain. Your memory is
Just
in your cloud, right?
yeah,
And
ourselves too.
well, it's in your cells, but like it's in your high self, and it's
Hmm.
in your larger memory. So like everything that you want to remember and everything that you want to know it's not really stored in your brain. It's stored in your energy, in your spirit, in your life.
Right, right.
Yeah, and just
You're so
so
spot on. Those fire codes in us that activate our DNA.
yeah.
That's when
That's
we
you begin to channel you like
yeah.
whenever you want to access that information, you're literally channeling it, and that's really what you were, in my opinion, wanting to do. You wanting to connect with that energy that has your not only your life history now, but like everything that you've known that you brought with you that you haven't integrated yet, or you're just connected to the cloud.
Well, and what I mean by memory is when I read some of my stuff, my teachings, I want to remember everything. It's hard
Oh
because
yeah.
that's what I meant by memory. Other than lineage, that comes when it comes,
Yeah.
right? I
It's like that penguin thing, it's like the penguins on the iceberg, like
oh
when you
yeah.
learn new things and penguin has to jump off. It's because we're growing so much, and to keep
Hmm.
the information accumulation alive, it's anyway, it's a lot.
It is, and the stuff that we learn with chelogic science, it's intense. So maybe I have to look at it this way. Maybe I'm not supposed to remember it yet. Maybe it serves a purpose down the road for another thing when
Or
the light
maybe it's
bulb
just
goes on.
integrated into you. Maybe it's not in your
Hmm.
mind anymore. It's just in your life.
Yeah, because when light bulbs go off with me, I'm like, oh, I get it now, right? And then it's a memory. Then I remember, I retain it. I think everybody learns very differently. You have tactile, visual, audio,
Hmm.
every, and so I need it all. I want to, because I'm an artist, artists and feeling is probably the best way for us. And we're
And I know
always,
you really well, Marla. I agree, but whenever something is really powerful that really powerfully affects you, you dive right in. You're like, hey, I got a big boost from this, and it's
yeah.
spiritual evolution is like your drive. It's what really excites you, and you are very
Hmm.
excited about this.
I am. I feel very pulled into this, and it's a pulling. Um, and I was talking to someone who is a instructor on this, and I'm thinking about getting some coaching done to do these experiences for people, journeys. And so she said people that have a calling or a pulling, you're being called to do it. It's the ancient knowledge of being pulled in that I'm getting chills, so it resonates. Yeah. I'm supposed to be on this journey. It helps so many people through mental illness and like a lot of veterans. It's help healing veteran psychedelics. And this is just this niche it's getting, I mean, it's been around for so long, but I think we're getting a little bit more wiggle room to start healing people. And if I can do my work and integrate Bufo with the stuff that I do, we're just adding another element to higher levels of consciousness. And when you reach these higher levels of consciousness, you're going into deep, 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 deep healing of cellular healing and neurology. And
That
you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say that's true. And it also brought light just how ridiculous the systems are here on Earth. and how much needs to be changed.
Mhm.
It acutely hits you as to the breadth of the work that needs to be done.
Right. Heck, I mean, I could take this to a different country where it's legal and do it. There is some lands that you can do these journeys and have it legal.
I think
And
it's legal in Arizona from
I think,
because there's looks like there's some businesses there for
yeah.
mushrooms and spiritual journeys.
Well, I might have a move in my future, which would be just
Mm,
fine. I've been. This is if you're like you or me or whomever is in high spiritual practice already, and you feel. I'm starting. A lot of us are feeling stuck. Like, what are we going to do on the next one? We're waiting for the next one. Come on. We're just waiting. Come on, come on. What's next? Right? What? I'm ready. Chop chop. We're, okay, Marla. You're going way too far out. They're not ready for you. That's what rein it in and let's just do one step at a time. Let's get you some education. Let's get some training. Okay. And then start to build and expand on that clientele. Be in a place where you can do it legally and and help others expand in consciousness. So I think I'm gonna, but let me back up. So after my two DMO or five MEO DMT Bufo journeys that I had, I did shrooms again. I'm like, okay, well, let's move this journey into a different realm and see how I do on shrooms. Now, remember, I had the good, and then the bad on in my 30s, and I'd done microdosing, and I did microdosing chocolate. I got a little stomach ache. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a chocolate. It was delicious. I wasn't sure what was affecting me. And now I know it's definitely the mushrooms. I can't do mushrooms. It doesn't agree with my system. The frequency the mushroom is on a lower realm. I was over a bucket for 2.5, 3 hours.
mm.
Like I felt like I was going to die and I saw evil. It's so low vibes. It works for some people, but these are the things you have to learn about psychedelics, about yourself, and know where you are. So for me, mushrooms are a no. Microdosing a little bit, very, very small amounts. Microdosing is great for people, for a lot of people. It's just just using your discretion and having a purpose. It's not, these things aren't recreational for me, is what I'm saying. I have a purpose of using all plant medicines for healing, And so it's spiritual integrity and being responsible in your practice is a big part of this. It's not just, let's just go on a journey. I mean, if I do this work, I am going to be working with corporate. There's tons of corporate people that do psychedelics. Tons of people do psychedelics. This is not poo-pooed anymore. This is healing with scientific background. There's proof.
Yeah.
They
You
have
know,
proof.
yeah, in a lot of my research when going through numbers and for the healing center we're creating is American Express did a survey on their executives that carried American Express cards. 73% of the surveys that went out were responded to, and the number one reason for travel was self-improvement.
That's great.
Yeah.
That would be, doing these kind of journeys are fan. These would be really great icebreakers for people.
Yeah.
You want to get to know the people you work with. Do a psychedelic journey, let me tell you. It
But
really.
I think they want to do it for their own personal. It's like everyone, the theme of the year is how can I get more? There has to be more. And where can I
Yeah.
find my joy? And
Yeah.
it's in unpacking. Just like when you went high and you came down and you realized all the things that didn't even matter that we spend so much
I
time
know.
on. It's just think
Mhm.
what life, I mean, for you has changed in the way that you're not even paying attention to stuff anymore. You know, that
I know. I just want to be in that
it's not
journey.
even,
Like I'm playing, even the music that you use when you do journeys, you're replaying that and it triggers those feelings. And you start to cry. It's beautiful, you know? Not the mushroom one wasn't beautiful. Afterwards, it was okay. I'm like, okay, we're done. Let's go. Let's go to dinner. But it's people are waking up because they went. If a sign of a awoken person who's going in higher levels of consciousness is they want more. There's more than this. I want to be better. I need to be better. I want to heal. Something is pulling me to do something more than what I'm doing. And that's part of the ascension. The
Mhm.
energy field is moving and flowing and all that to create this feeling of expansion. So someone we are in ascension. It's very obvious, or people would not be wanting to get in higher levels of consciousness. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So how often would you say that you would do something like this? Like, when do you think you would want to do it again? Like, I
As
know
soon
you're
as
going to be unpacking for a while, as soon as
yeah.
possible.
Yeah, yeah. I love being in high consciousness. I love being able to cope and deal with my issues. This is fearless work. It's scary going into it because you're like, oh God, here I go. Oh, what's going to be exposed? I want
So
to,
it's the DMT, it's that chemical that enters into the brain that expands it out and that allows you to see and to be and to have these outer realm experiences, right? How would you express?
well, I'm learning about the chemical. There's a whole chemical component here to this frog venom and
Mm,
what it does. And it's been around for a long time. I think like
yeah.
since 1930s or 1940, it was discovered. I mean, it's been around, but discovered in the mid or 30, 40s, I think, from my research. I don't know exactly what it does to the brain chemistry. I know serotonin has to do with it. And so it's their serotonin receptors, I believe. But this is part of my training that I'll get trained in. So I'll know exactly what's going on. But I still look at it regardless of what it's doing to my brain in a chemical reaction. I'm looking at it energetically.
Right, right. So I see an expansion in you. I see an expansion in light. Your mind is expanded, your heart is expanded,
Mhm.
and you just feel way more free. It's almost like a lot of burdens have been lifted off of you. You're very
Thank
you're
you.
not childlike, but there's that joy that I can really see in you today. You're just
Yeah,
glowing.
John, we did a before and after picture, and you do change. It changes you. You can't go in it not untouched. It's an experience like no other that you'll ever feel, other than probably dying. And obviously, we're not doing that route. But so if I do this training, I'll be doing it for 15 days straight. Part of the journey is doing it actually for I think it was 51 days straight, or maybe it's 55. It's in the higher numbers, so you would that's part of the spiritual part of do it 50, I'll just say it's 51 days. Do it 51 days straight of Bufo. You're so high in consciousness, you know. But during these journeys, we'll be working with each other how to administer it. There's a way to, you have to weigh out the product and know how to administer it. First you have to prep there's prepping, and then when you have the journey, it's administrating it and, doing all the stuff, all the ceremonial stuff, and then watching them while they're in their experience, when they're going into consciousness. You have to watch them, and they have to know you're here for them, and you have to guide them to breathe and go into the music and have just let it go, leave it. So it is, you have to have a coach. Doing this alone would not be wise. And certain people, like I said earlier, you could break
It
somebody.
really, yeah, I was just thinking about how it may not be for everyone.
No, it's not. It's
Just
not.
it would, and I'm wondering how well I would be able to just let go. I think I
Mhm.
would if I were by myself. I don't know.
You can't, unless I think if you've had experience doing this, you know what to do. After
Hmm.
2 weeks to 51 days of doing it, you could do it alone because you know what to expect, right? You're
Yeah, I think the first time doing something like that
not
would
alone.
be.
You need to have someone for a handful of times. I don't know what I don't know what the, I'm not going to say law, but the rule of thumb is like you need 10 days of Bufo under your belt, then you can do it alone. I don't know. But we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. They do it in the pool and you're guided so you could float. So there's different in your elements. I'm sure there's one with a fire ceremony. I don't know. I would imagine we're working with elements, right? It's going to be quite amazing if I do this. So, yeah.
I can't wait.
I can't wait too. And to teach me what to look for in somebody. Like I already kind of have an idea. Like I know some people, I'm like, no, they would not be a good candidate for this. But you did come to mind. I think you would be a good candidate for this because you work through your stuff. You're a healer. You work with energy fields, and you're always open to expand. And you're really good at owning things. You're not a blamer. I mean, a lot of people still do that. They don't take ownership for stuff. And that's part of healing is owning up to some of your stuff that you've taken in. We've chosen to take some of these things, a lot of our things in. And so
Yeah,
it's being able to release it, if it doesn't serve a purpose,
yeah, it's like emptying the suitcase. A lot of it's not even yours, a lot of it's.
projected onto you.
Or you've taken it
Right.
on.
Right. And so I think that's with this journey, only one thing to work on. Come on now. I know I have more. And maybe more I'm sure more will come out, but I've let go so much and my parents are already gone. They're already gone. I had to work on it through mourning. But this one thing I have to work on because their stuff was projected onto, parents project onto children. This was actually physically done to me. And I was a child. So that was a trauma event. So that came up to
Well, that
heal.
was that it took away your will, it took away your trust, your innocence. I mean, just
Oh,
think
yeah.
about what an invasion that was. And that guy
Hmm.
just, he thrived on that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
psychopathy.
Yeah, it is. Because, at 13, you want the fairy tale wedding. You like princesses, you're a princess and Cinderella, and I want to get married. And I grew up in California, grew up kind of fast, so I knew what sex was. But I'm like, I didn't want to do it that way. I had a plan. I wanted to do it the right way because my parents loved each other. They showed beautiful love in our home until up to the divorce. So I had a really great childhood until everything went to shit. It all boom, boom, boom. But did I choose this? Was it in my contract? We got those contracts. Contract. We have it, work on it, get rid of it. I let it go. It came up so I could release it.
Yeah.
It may not have come up to work on it right here at this level, but it came up at a higher level of consciousness to get rid of it. And so I feel really good. I
It sounds like a session I did yesterday with releasing those contracts at high levels that this girl had gone through so much. A lot of it came from her ancestors too, unfortunately. I mean, we found where the origin.
oh my goodness, that's great that you found the origin so you can break it and stop it.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you were able to find your contract for that. And did it close it out for you? That
Oh, I feel
trauma that.
I, I don't, I don't I mean love is there's still a little fear to love and open that level of vulnerability. But
Mhm.
it's not as big. I'm not fearful to love and but I've also been alone for 4.5, 5 years. I'm now ready to give. I wasn't able to give. I needed a break from giving. Giving takes a lot out of you in a relationship.
It does,
And
especially
mhm,
when it's not reciprocal back at the
right, that
same. Yeah.
when it's a balance of giving, ebb and flow. I know sometimes you have to give more and then you take more, that would be a appropriate time to have a relationship when you know that you can have a good dance together. When there's give and take. And it's not always equal, but it's there. It has to be there in a relationship. Otherwise, that's what builds the relationship. That's what builds the love. That's what builds the trust. Is going through things together.
Hmm.
If you go and have a relationship without any kind of experience, it's non-growing. It creates expansion and growth. When you have, not that you search for issues, but they come up. It's part of life.
Yeah, it's part of what bonds you too.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially with what bonds a woman to a man in from a man's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Is like going through stuff together is like did you know that I was reading I was reading a blog, and there's a chemical that is made in the guy's brain when you work through things together and you accomplish goals, and you go through difficulty, or you can handle something together. And once it's done, then it's like this um, very satisfied. It's a very satisfying feeling for a guy. I mean, women receive those chemicals from other things, from being supported emotionally and feeling
Mm-hmm.
safe, that sort of thing. But a guy likes to work stuff out. So, it sounds like you are ready, and that's huge. I mean, relationships are probably one of the biggest, scariest things that one of the biggest, scariest doors that we walk through, especially
Mm-hmm.
if we haven't had one in a while. And to be
Right,
ready
right.
for that after something like that, after healing and coming to a neutral point from an experience that was cleared, that's huge. That's
It
absolutely
is.
huge.
I saw a lot of things like take the sexual aspect out a little bit and go more with soul. So that kind
It's
of
like
gave
his
a full
power was
circle.
trying to take your power. And really that's all that is. And like that
Mhm.
soul wasn't very strong. So it was just taking your power.
Right. And I, at that time, being so young, what I did here through my Bufo experience was that I was 13, I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't strong enough to push him off. I wasn't strong enough emotionally to just yell at him. I was, and it's a little bit of indoctrination and how my family raised me. It's like you listen to the elders, you listen to them, you listen, you do you do what you're told to do, young lady. We were that family. You listen to me or you get a belt. And so here he's older than me. What would happen if say no? I said no, but I didn't get him off of me. Um, but if I had actually I didn't fight. And so I have regret not fighting. I just kept hearing you just weren't strong enough. You just weren't strong enough. It's okay.
Yeah, your
It's
13-year-old mind
okay.
probably thought it was futile. It's like, let's just get through this and it'll be over kind of thing. That's probably what you did. You probably
I
took.
just laid there.
Because he could
I
have could have gone into like hitting you, like if you fought, there's all these scenarios, like, and you're always
Mhm.
wanting to be in a place of safety. So your nervous system knows what is the safest thing. So you have to go with your own intelligence too. So when you look back in hindsight, you can't armchair quarterback yourself and into what
Gosh,
you could have done, what you should have done.
right.
It's like who knows what they would do unless they're in that position. You have to analyze and assess it at the time.
Gosh,
That's
you saying that just brought up my robbery. Remember when I was robbed? I was home and I heard all this noise and I'm in my bedroom, and I thought it was my son rummaging through stuff, but I was being robbed. They, took my guns, and I felt like I was in this God bubble. Like I just laid there doing my own thing. And maybe that's what was going on when I was 13. I was in a protective God bubble. Just protect her, just protect her. Just don't engage, don't do anything. Just lay there. It'll be done, really, I think because it was painful. I was 13. And so that's all I did. It's like, it's going to be done. It's going to be done. It's going to be done. And so I think that kind of gave me like reminiscent to the robbery, like, oh, like, I don't know. I just kind of, those two kind of felt the same. It's
Well, they're
interesting.
both violations,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, yeah.
unwelcomed violations of your personal
Yes.
space.
Yes. But, on a flip side is I feel really, really good and healed and pretty healed. And I'm being pulled into this journey. I have a frog ring. It's my mom. So it's kind of weird. Like when I was a child, I would always go on frog hunts and then we'd set them free. I would. My brother was terrible. He didn't set them free. He was mean. But so I had this, I don't know if you can see my frog ring.
Yeah, it's cute.
So I was wearing this frog during my journey. And so it's kind and I have weird things. I have random frogs in my home and so of little statues. So I've kind of always, liked frogs. So it's kind of weird.
And
Just kind of
think about the
synchronicity.
kiss. Something you said, and I'm talked over you a couple times. I apologize, but the princess kissing a frog.
Interesting.
What is that? You know, and you know that before the white people discovered Bufo, it had been around. And I've had clients that did Bufo experiences, and it opened up their gifts.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It is like my I talked about my client today, right? Already. Or my
That you were
uh
able to your perception, your power, your
oh
ability was
the hum
increased.
the humming that I did with this client today was so different. It triggered a different pitch in me, and it creates a higher. I'm getting chills here. So it created a higher realm, a higher frequency to bring through to help clear energy points. And so that's a gift alone, right then and there. And more, I think more is coming. More is coming. I'm ready. Bring
Oh,
it on.
definitely. Definitely. And
Yeah.
I know that it takes several days to unpack from
Oh
a
yeah.
journey like this. And I know that you're doing it slowly. Is there anything else you'd like to share
You're so
about it?
sweet. Um, I'm just bringing in the love with it. It's emotional. It's a very emotional process. It's nothing I ever expected. It's so beautiful. It was a beautiful journey. And I just hope that when people do any type of psychedelic, that they do the one that has a frequency that calls them and they have someone they can trust to guide them. So it's done appropriately and nobody's taken advantage of it while you're some people who start to, meditate and fall asleep. You don't want people taking advantage of you. And so you want to find a really, really good practitioner or integration coach that you trust and has really, really good boundaries and spiritual practice. That's what I want to close on. Um, since John was phenomenal, he was amazing. I highly recommend, working with him. He and I are going to be doing some work together. We're going to continue doing some responsible co-creatorship. We feel a little, a calling to work together to help people heal. And this is what I like is that you and I work together. It's expanding, you
Yeah, it
know.
really is. And I can just say that the release that happened with you really opened your heart. It's you are resonating at a completely different level,
Yeah,
and
thank
I
you.
can just imagine how quickly you'll be manifesting just with that beautiful open heart. It's it's
Thank
so
you.
beautiful, and I would totally trust you to work with me should I do,
Oh, I would
and I'm
love
pretty
to.
sure I'm going to do it. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I'm going to do it. So
yeah.
like I will make myself available to allow you to do it
Thank
with me.
you.
And yeah,
That would be awesome. That
I
would
can be
be
one of your guinea
awesome.
pigs. Your
Oh,
beginning
you'll
guinea
be
pigs.
one of my little students.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. But I
See,
can really
yeah.
see, and I know that the energy that you're expressing now is still very raw. And
Hmm.
when it has integrated and you've unpacked, it's like that expansion of your heart and your consciousness and just your being. It's like I can see the light just radiating around you and just the color that's coming from your skin and just your beautiful heart. I can see it and feel it, and it's has just brought you into this space, and it's so beautiful to see. It's I can tell a lot of healing took place.
It did, and it will continue because the frequency lasts internally.
That's true, and that's you never
Hmm.
go back. That's the thing I
No,
wanted to say.
right.
A lot of times you'll go into, say, a session, like a Reiki session, or you get energy cleared, and then life happens, and the same energy comes back, and your energetic set points are completely different. So what's gonna be attracted to you in your life is completely different. A lot of things that used to be will no longer be just
Hmm.
because it's not a frequency match anymore.
Right, exactly.
And I can feel that freedom around you. That I think that's probably the thing that encourages me to want to do it. Like I can really see that freedom emanating from you. And I can hear it in your voice. I can see it in your thoughts. I mean, you're still processing, but like I definitely want some of that.
Yeah, you're like, I want to achieve. You don't have to have an orgasm. This is the orgasm. Seriously, there was a euphoric feel to it too. I know, and that could be, some people do have that kind of response, a sexual response to this kind of treatment, if you want to, or however you want to say it, medicine. And I did feel a point of euphoric because I went through levels. I think when you get through those levels, you get euphoric. It is, I,
Everything is beautiful. That's the thing.
it's
Everything is
hard to put
beautiful.
words in this. It's so difficult to find the words.
It's just, yeah, I
Oh
can
my
feel
God.
that. Very all encompassing.
It is. It is. It's magnificent, and it's scary. It's scary, because you don't know what you're embarking on. And it's even second round ceremony. I was like, still, you'll always have a little bit of that fear of unknowing. It's very common, I was told. So yeah, thank you
Very good.
for doing this with me. I appreciate you, and I can't wait for you to try this when you're ready.
Well, I
Or
can't
if
wait for us to do it together.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. We definitely could do this together. This is a bonding moment. It does. It bonds people. It is bonding because it's magical. You'll never go back to being who you are. There's no way. And then when
That's
you
the beauty of it. That is
yeah,
the beauty of it. You
and when you
become more yourself and you never go back to the old self.
right. And when you incorporate other healing modalities with it. So laying on the mat when you get out of it was really, really, really nice. It helps bring that frequency with the mat, the
Hmm.
hertz, and the heat, the far infrared heating, and the element of the goggles all together. It could take you right into meditation right after you've had a psychedelic experience, and that would be really nice. That's a nice way to integrate instead of
So
just
if you
jumping right
were,
up.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you were working with someone, say you do go through this coaching experience, which is actually coming up, that with you'll need to decide in the next few days if you're gonna if you're gonna ride this thing out.
Yeah, I
And
have to decide really fast. There's only 3 spots left.
so you would have someone come to your house, or you would go to their house, and you would spend, say, how long would you spend with a person for like a journey?
Well,
Uh,
first of all, it's not legal. So
oh, okay.
technically, I'd need to do it in a place that's legal.
Okay, so let's say it
But what
was
I would
legal.
do is I would say, just give me a call and let's have a conversation.
Okay.
Because it's not a matter of where I go to do this, other than a legal spot. It's that if you're ready.
Right, right, right.
But I would need to have, I think if somebody wants to do this, if someone has an interest in learning about this, contact me. I would love to have a conversation with someone and let's talk about a future journey where we could do this. Let's go down that if you're and see if you're ready. That's what I would do. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Okay, very good. Well, you do
Yeah.
have a lot of tools and you have a lot of support, and I do hope that you take this journey. I hope that it
I
does work out, and I do believe that you will. And I can't wait to see the results of the impact that it makes.
gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
We're definitely gonna need a couple of these to sift through everything. It's a 2-week course in Texas. And you're in Texas.
I was about to say, I think I'm in the area actually. So
Yeah. I'll see you at the airport.
yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you, Leanne, for being part of this journey with me. I appreciate and love you. And thank you for all the viewers for watching my experience today. May you embark on an experience, a healing journey to open your consciousness, to have expansion and growth, so you can be the best you can be while we're here in this pivotal times of ascension. And much love. Thank you. Bye, everybody.